Get into the world of celebrities and Bravo Labs with What the Reality with me, Kashay Roberts. I discuss the mess of it all, from reality TV, Hey Housewives, to iconic pop culture moments in the making. We are talking about it all. Don't forget to leave a 5-star rating and a comment wherever you listen to your podcast. Welcome to the pod. You are listening to What the Reality with me, Kashay Roberts. You guys, there is a lot of tea. Get your water, get your teacups, get your coffee mugs. It's a lot of tea going on right now. And Atlanta Reunion, the first part dropped. We're going to be talking about Atlanta Reunion. Welcome to your toxic, but it is Tuesday episode. How are y'all doing after that nice weekend? I feel like my weekends just get busier and busier with work. And yes, now it's like the start of a whole new week. But how are you guys doing? We got some things to talk about, some reality topics to talk about first, before we get into this Atlanta Reunion Part 1, which I thought was really good. I thought the Reunion Part 1 was really good. First, we got to hop into these relationships. There's a lot of new relationships on the rise. There's a lot of old relationships out of here. Well, I don't have any relationships out of here, but I'm just saying, it's like the weekend of engagements. So, well, literally, engagements. Okay, so starting off, Klay Thompson, Megan Thee Stallion are officially dating. They went officially public, IG official. I'm gonna try to get like a photo of them here or here, wherever I end up putting it. She looks good, body banging, body tea. That's never been an issue for Megan Thee Stallion. So initially she posted a picture poolside and looking good. You know, Megan Thee Stallion, she has the Ozempic allegations. I don't see how she could have the Ozempic allegations, because to be honest, like, her weight loss has been natural. It's all been natural. It looks like she's just been putting the work in. I see her TikToks, like her funny voiceovers. It never gave Ozempic, as some people would say. Her body's banging. She was on Love Island. We're going to talk a little bit about Love Island because we have the winners. Spoiler alert, I'm talking about the Love Island winners. If you guys have not watched it, make sure you skip some minutes. I'll put it in though. But yes, so Megan was posted poolside, and then you know how Twitter is and Instagram, they are clever. There was someone poolside as well. You zoom in, it's Klay Thompson. So on period, I just am like, let me stop. I'm happy for her, but I'm just like, what is Klay Thompson doing with Megan Thee Stallion? Like, I just feel like he is so skinny and she is like body's tea. I'm like, can he lift her up? Like, I don't know if he can like pick her up. I don't know how that is. I mean, he's tall. He's like 6'6", 6'7", and which is good because Megan Thee Stallion's like 5'10", I think. But I'm just like, what can this freaking lanky, skinny man do for Megan Thee Stallion? I don't know. She seems happy. She got caught slipping. There are Twitters. I found a lot of my information on Twitter. There's this Twitter account that posted something from her TikTok live, and she's sitting on his lap, opening her Labubus, which I'm just like, are we really doing that like in 2025? Like, people are actually wanting these Labubus on their purses and stuff. I do not want one. She's sitting on his lap, and he's just like gripping her from behind. It is the most wild fried thing ever, but you know what? I'm happy for my good sis, Megan Thee Stallion. I love her. I think she truly deserves love. She was with someone else before him that was also a basketball player, but they said he was just a bench player. So it's like she done went from a bench player to someone that's like a star athlete, and that actually gets plays and stuff. So Megan Thee Stallion seems to be happy in a relationship, as she should be, and we are here for it. What are your guys' comments? She looks good. They look good together. I'm not gonna lie. I just see her with someone more muscular. He's very skinny, and that's why I'm just like, okay. So other engagements, well, engagements. Coco Jones and Donovan Mitchell have officially, oh my gosh, Coco Jones and Donovan Mitchell have officially gotten engaged. They also posted this weekend their ring, her ring and whatever. Super beautiful. No one knew that they were dating. Donovan Mitchell is from the Cleveland Cavaliers. Shout out to Cleveland. You know, that's my hometown. No one knew that they were dating, so a lot of people were shocked that she was even, like, engaged. People love Coco Jones. She's so gorgeous. And I'm just like, girl, don't you love when you're, like, off clock and you're getting messages from your... Let me stop being messy. Anyway, yes, Coco Jones is engaged, and her and Donovan Mitchell, they make a very cute couple. I remember when he lost the playoffs, he was like, you know, I might go on tour. Like, they've been dating for like 2 years, and this is what I'm loving seeing. Like, at least like the R&B girlies and the athletes, you know, Normani and DK Metcalf got engaged earlier this year. I'm loving these men knowing, like, instantly, like, this person's time is not to be wasted. We're not about to be on no toxic stuff back and forth. I like this person. Let me propose to them. Like, let's bring back proposals. Let's bring back courting. Let's bring back, that's how you should move in a relationship. Like, you know what? You like this person. You don't want to waste their time. Let me propose to you. We're going to get married, have babies, whatever, or maybe just travel the world. Like, let's get back to that. Like, honestly, because so many rappers, like, I don't even want to talk about it. But, you know, Nicki Baby from Love and Hip Hop, who looks really good. She's lost, well, I don't know if she's lost weight. I think she just got rid of a lot of filler. She's gotten rid of a lot of filler. Her lips look good. Like, she looks really good. So she went on Jason Lee's podcast show and was basically talking about, you know, her ex. And I cannot think of her ex's name, but he ended up getting somebody else pregnant while her baby was 4 weeks old. So he was been cheating on her. I gotta get Nicki Baby's baby daddy name because I really do not know what his name is. And it's crazy because he had just went viral. For, oh, it's LiAngelo Ball. He just went viral because he knocked up his girlfriend, I guess, that he ended up marrying or whatever. So wait, does he have 2 kids by this girl? So the girl that he knocked up on Nicki Baby, he ended up proposing to, they got married, yada, yada, yada. Now, they got married 2 weeks in, or a month in. It's some crazy storyline. She just announced she's pregnant again, and he's just filed for divorce from her. Yikes. I gotta get this whole story. So, it wasn't even gonna be a story, but I'm just comparing and contrasting. Like, I'm just sick of these, like, bad relationships, like, not lasting. And here we go. We got, like, R&B artists, like, seriously stepping up to the plate. And these athletes, like, hey, this is my girl. Like, let me propose to her. And also, Sierra and Russell are behind a lot of this stuff. So I'm wondering, like, they are the new celebrity matchmakers. Bravo's going to be offering them a show soon. Like, very, very soon. Yes, LiAngelo Ball is Miss Nicki's baby daddy. And they were engaged. They have 2 children together. They have a son and a daughter. And a rocky relationship and abandonment from yikes. And now he just impregnated Rashida Nicole with their first child together. And that's his girlfriend. Yikes. I didn't want to say it like that. I'm just like, he just left her though as soon as she announced her pregnancy. And I remember there was this clip going around at the BET Awards where they were like, oh my gosh, give your girlfriend a kiss, and he was not trying to give her a kiss. So, and now she's pregnant, and now that man's dipping out. But either way, Sierra and Russell are behind Coco Jones getting engaged. They are also behind Normani getting engaged. Bravo will probably soon be offering them a matchmaking celebrity service because the people, you want to get set up by Sierra. That's why Summer Walker on her album had a Sierra's Prayer. You want to get set up by Sierra and Russell because the men they keep, the young men, are constantly looking to settle down and not play no games. I would say, like, literally that's who you probably want to go get with in Hollywood if you're like, oh my gosh, like a young, hot R&B artist, and you're like looking for someone, not even necessarily looking for someone. If Sierra and Russell, though, happen to introduce you to a young man, probably take them up on that offer, because that man is probably no nonsense and knows what he wants. And he typically has money. They know where the money resides, but he's also like very caring and stuff. Like, we just don't hear any drama about Donovan Mitchell. We don't hear no drama about DK Metcalf. It don't got to be a LeBron James. Like, these people have money. They're young. They're hot, and they should be in relationships. And period. On another engagement, someone else that just got engaged, Uma and Will from Love Island UK. I cannot remember what season it was, but they just got engaged. And people are saying like this is the equivalent of Alandria and Taylor getting engaged from USA. I'm gonna stop people there, because I didn't really watch that UK one. I thought it was like a terrible season when Mimi kept dipping back to that man. I can't even think of his name. But and then I guess Uma got with Will. I guess Will had made a controversial statement towards his relationship with Mimi, basically saying like his type is typically like, you know, like blonde or something. And he notoriously got voted off of the island, and Uma notoriously followed him, even though viewers are like, girl, this man do not like you like that. They've been together for well over a year now. I think it may be like knocking at 2 years, and now they're engaged. I'm happy for Uma and Will. I think Uma's the most gorgeous girls we've seen on Love Island. I think she really loves her man, and I hope it works out for them. I'm here for the spirit of engagements, especially for pretty women, city girls up. Speaking of city girls that are up, someone is down, because it was just spotted that Real Housewives of Potomac, Kierna Stewart, Kay, you know I like you. So she was spotted out with that Greg guy. She was spotted out with that Greg guy. Yeah. So I hope that relationship lasts, because last we heard they were not going to continue their relationship, which I thought was the correct move. Now we're seeing conflicting things where it looks like she may be getting back together with him. I don't know when Potomac comes out. Sundays are about to look really dry because Atlanta's going off. So I don't know what's going on with Potomac. Salt Lake City apparently is supposed to be making like a surprise trailer. Maybe we're getting the trailer this week, or I think we're going to get one in August. I think Salt Lake City is coming back a lot sooner than a lot of us thought. Salt Lake City dropped a quick little teaser during the OC premiere. I do not watch OC. Should I start from the beginning and watch OC? That is the question. I might, but I guess during the premiere, Salt Lake City dropped a trailer. And that's one thing Salt Lake City is not short on, is content. Like, Salt Lake City just keeps pumping out content. It's like pop, 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 pop. But I think we're getting Salt Lake City like in August, like end of August. I think we may get a trailer within 2 weeks, which is mind-boggling because I swear it came on later in the year. That would be insane to me. That would be insane to me if it came back. All right, so another reality topic. Beyonce's music has been stolen. Where's the dun, dun, dun? That is not a good thing, y'all. She is in Atlanta. This is her. I'm recording, I record on Mondays. This will be up on Tuesday. I'm recording on Monday. Tonight is her final show in Atlanta. And apparently they have an SUV or a Jeep or something. They park in a certain garage in Atlanta. I don't know. This story sounds so fishy to me. And I guess in the car, it has her set list. It had like 5 hard drives, some lyrics, a bunch of unreleased music. Somebody broke in it in Atlanta. And now there is a suspect, there's a warrant for someone. There's a warrant for someone's arrest. Like, they're literally about to get arrested over stealing Beyonce's music. And she do not play. People are saying Act 3 is scrammed. Like, they're saying they're probably going to try to leak it. This is bad. I don't know if it's like how people have regimens and they're just like you know, we do this as a regimen, so we're gonna keep doing it. Maybe back in the day she's like always like kept her stuff in a, you know, Jeep and like traveled with her, but I would never leave that stuff like unattended to. It seems as though like someone caught them as they were going into the hotel. How did they know that was Beyonce's truck? They stole 5 hard drives, and that has unreleased music, y'all. Like, this is a pretty serious big deal. Like, this could be very bad and very detrimental to Act 3. And then she's supposed to perform in Atlanta tonight. So if I'm Beyonce and Atlanta has been getting a show, if I'm Beyonce and I'm in Atlanta for my final night, I'm canceling the show. Because it's like, I didn't give y'all Jay-Z. She didn't give them Before I Let Go. She didn't give them some good things. I'm not gonna lie, I'm upset because she's been feeding Houston and Atlanta. I didn't even know Atlanta was like that lit for Beyonce, because I feel like Atlanta is so it's overcrowded, and I feel like if anyone would think Beyonce's jaded, would be the Atlanta audience, but people love her in Atlanta. So to my shock, people are like, you gotta go to an Atlanta show. She's never gonna do, especially now, everything she just did in Atlanta again, especially now that they stole her music, but she's not gonna do it again because she's already did it. So I gotta really try to play guessing game, because she's had amazing shows in Paris, Houston, and Atlanta, but to my surprise, she didn't really do anything for 4th of July, which I was shocked about. Either way, imagine being Beyonce. She got one more show tonight. She might be a little upset. She might be a little upset performing tonight, because it's like her stuff was stolen. So I was like, where do you go from here? I don't know. I really don't know where you go from here. I genuinely wonder how the energy is going to be tonight in Atlanta. I think she's going to be mad. She's a professional, but 5 hard drives were stolen. Let me see if I can find like the story, because I'm just like, what is going on? Beyonce music stolen. Like, they're gonna try to leak it. Hard drives with Beyonce's unreleased music stolen. Let me see. I got this article from ABC News. Police are searching for suspect accused of stealing 2 suitcases containing sensitive material related to Beyonce's performances, including unreleased music and show plans, from a vehicle in Atlanta earlier this month. Why did it say it earlier this month? A police incident report says the owner of the suitcases claimed to be a choreographer for Beyonce. So I don't know if that choreographer was supposed to have that stuff in there. I don't know if even Beyonce knew that stuff was in there. So that may be a bigger problem if she did not know where her hard drives and stuff were being kept, or if she assumed it was being kept on the person. If this person got a little sloppy, forgot this choreographer is not looking good for you. According to a statement from Atlanta, police officers responded to Krog Street on July 8th regarding a report of that. So this is just coming out now. So this happened July 8th. So preliminary investigation revealed a Jeep Wagner was broken into the location. 2 suitcases have been stolen. Investigators with the Atlanta Police Department led the investigation and have subsequently secured an arrest warrant for a suspect. So this is coming out now because they have a suspect, but it contained watermarked music from some unreleased music, footage, plans for the show, and past and future set lists. Yikes. Yikes. And this is her last day in Atlanta. It was a 4-tour run in Atlanta, and then she literally, I think she's taking a nice, like, maybe 3-day break, because it's been nonstop in Atlanta Thursday to Monday. And then she got her last 2 shows in Vegas. So my question is, who's in charge for this? Who's responsible for losing Beyonce's music? I thought it was Beyonce. No, it looks like it was a choreographer. That's crazy. I hope he don't get fired, because that's one thing Miss Beyonce did not play around. If you mess up one time, you were not around the second time to mess up. You're just not. You're not. It's like one of those things, like, once you have an opportunity, don't mess up your opportunity. That's the tea there. Another reality topic, Love Island. Well, we're going to wait with Love Island. We're going to talk about Martina. So Martina, Julia, Real Housewives of Miami's wife, went to Twitter. She was responding about something. I'm going to try to get it up on my screen because, of course, it's deleted, but I got a screenshot of it. It's deleted, but so she was responding to some story about, and she said surrogacy is just wrong. Sometimes you can't have it all. And I saw Adriana respond to that tweet saying, I wonder how Andy Cohen would feel about this. People were responding about it. And this just begs the question further, for me at least. And I'm like into this lore a lot. I'm just like, why did they adopt 2 black boys if you think like surrogacy? Martina literally explicitly said surrogacy is not an option, or it's just wrong. Like she said, it's like wrong. I feel like people can debate a lot of stuff that's wrong in y'all's life, but it's like, it's not wrong. Like I don't understand what she means. Surrogacy is just wrong. You can't have it all. Sometimes people can't have babies. That's why y'all adopted. So what did you say? Adoption is wrong? And then Adriana was like, I would be curious to see how Andy Cohen feels about this. And she, of course, deleted the tweet. Don't know why she even tweeted that or felt the need to say that. Very interested to see who Andy labels as his jackhole of the day, because I feel like it should go to Martina. And I feel like Julia's going to have a lot to respond to. I don't think Julia's going to be back. The fact that Martina has tweeted that, she literally just solicited your fate on the reality show. And that also brings me back to the question, why did you guys adopt 2 black boys when Martina has made it clear that it is Gertie's nature to attack, but you're literally raising 2 black men? It's just giving for clout. I am very concerned for those kids' safety. I just feel like Martina and Julia are not good people. There is something there that I'm waiting to come out. They're very questionable. It's very questionable, that whole situation. And now that we have this tweet of her saying, surrogacy is not right, you can't have it all. Well, then some would probably argue adoption isn't right and you can't have it all. You shouldn't be adopting. Like, excuse me? But I clocked Martina's tea a long time ago. The only reason people lay low on her is because she was going through an issue. And that's why I feel like people are coming so hard for Gertie right now, because she was going through cancer. And now they're like, oh my gosh, she's fine with cancer now. She's made it on the other end. We can start poking fun at her. Now we can do the same with Martina, and we can hold her to the line just as much. Since Julia thinks she's still up here, I can't stand Julia. I think Julia is very fake. I think she's waiting for production cues. I think she's a production plant for sure. And you could tell when she was apologizing to Gertie, but I don't want to get heated about that. I want to talk about Love Island, and then we're going to slowly talk into Atlanta, because we do have an update from Britt Eady, the woman herself. We have an update from her. Love Island has concluded. Spoiler alert, spoiler alert, spoiler alert. That is 3 spoilers I just gave y'all, and I gave you one earlier. Amaya and Brian have won. I'm happy. Okay, so I did vote Nicolandria because black girls, black women. I'm always going to vote a black woman. Had Shelly and Ace been in that villa, as they should have been, I could have think of 2 spots they could have been in place of. I would have probably voted Shelly and Ace. I knew Amaya was going to win, which is why I did not vote for Amaya, because I just feel like she has such a fan base, and people are like, it's not about fan bases, like it's about true love. It really isn't about true love sometimes. Sometimes it really is about which person carries this season and which person has the strongest fan base. Amaya has the strongest fan base. When you think about fan bases, you got to look at Love Island season 5 UK, where they let Amber carry it home. She coupled up with some random guy in Casa Amor, and she won it over Molly May and Tommy Fury. And I will keep making the parallels, because people are like, oh my gosh, you guys didn't even vote for true love, like Brian don't even like Amaya, which I think is debatable, because he made it questionable with her. I mean, he made it exclusive with her. But at the end of the day, being a good person on Love Island gets you further than being in a phony fake relationship. and being a phony fake person. Being a good, genuine person, your authentic self, will get you a lot farther in that villa because of your friends and because of America. America fell in love with Maya. She's America's sweetheart. I think she deserves it all. You can literally search Amaya's name and papayas fall down. She is set. I'm so happy for her because so many of those men try to dim her light. So many of the women try to dim her light, tell her, you know what, you're doing too much. And I feel like, in a way, it's like Gertie, but I also feel like there's always someone trying to dim down a brown or a black girl's light. Like, you know, you're just a little too extra. When it's like, you guys aren't extra enough. That's why you're actually affected. That's why you're actually hurt with how I move. So I'm so glad Amaya won. If it wasn't going to be Amaya, it had better been Nicolandria. So the fact that it's Amaya, fine with me. I knew she was going to win, though. That's why my vote went to Nicolandria, because black girls up. And it's just a nice story. Do I think Nick and Alandria are gonna pursue that relationship? I think Nick is in love with Alandria. And if you don't see it, it's right there. I don't think Alandria feels him like that, but I do think it would have been a nice, lovely story for the best friends turned lovers turned partners, ex, whatever, to, you know, really take this thing home. But they got second place. They got runner up, and they just coupled up. And it's just like, producers were forcing them together, public is forcing them together. Like, we all saw it. I think had they had more time, it would have been more genuine. I just saw it as a friendship. But like I said, you guys don't really watch Love Island if you haven't watched the UK, where we've carried friendships to the end, knowing they're in a friend couple, or we just carried our fan faves to the end. I mean, I don't get to vote in the UK, it sucks. But you just carry this person to the end because they're just good people. And I will always use that Amber example, because Molly May and Tommy Furry came in second place, runner-up. People thought they were going to win, but people just loved Amber so much. And Tommy and Molly May went on to, you know, get married or like get engaged, have a baby. They were together for a while. They're on and off now, I think, or like on per se, but their relationship stood the typical Love Island UK test, and they did not win. And there was another instance where someone, like a fan favorite, won, and it's like a Casa Boy. Like, if you're really, truly loved by the public, you're going to win. That Huda and Chris finale date, I just was shaking my head the whole time, because I'm just like, this deserved to be like Shelly and Ace's. Also, that could have been Nick and Alandria's date, because I'll be darned if my final date is me hiking around a hot beach in Fiji. I'm all sweaty. I'll be darned if that's my final date and opening messages in a bottle. Like, I would have liked to have an intimate date setting like that. Huda and Chris called it off. Did I see that coming? Yes. How could you not? The Hood Rats, go listen to another one of my episodes. The Hood Rats took it way too far this season, threatening to call ICE on Sierra. They just doing way too much to, like, now trying to make her the victim again, saying she needs to go back on Love Island. She was done wrong. But it's just like, just take your L and go touch some grass. I'm so glad Love Island is over. I gotta watch Beyond the Villa. But Huda is a narcissist. She's a manipulator. And if that was a man, we would all be terrified. We would be like, Huda, get away from him. He is not good for you. If Huda was a man and if Jeremiah was a girl, it would be typical, like, you know, DV. And I just feel like what she was doing, like poking Chris, counting down, you got 3 seconds until I get mad and you're going to see me with an attitude tomorrow. Girl, how old are you? She's 24. She just like, you need therapy, girl. And not in any shady way. It's just like, she think her stuff don't stink. And I understand, like, having certain standards for yourself, because I did say in the beginning, Huda's crash out and all this stuff, but I was like, I see myself in Huda when I was 2 years ago. You know what I mean? Like, I'm 25, but it's like, you know, it's not foreign to me how Huda acted. It wasn't really foreign. It was just kind of like, you know, this is a woman, you know, learning things in life. Unfortunately, they're on TV. Like, I think all women have had some sort of crash out, and it's been televised. My thing is, like, the Islanders should have got her out a long time ago. They saved her too much. I think production had a lot to do with that for the views. But I think she is just an example of, like, you got to do the work inside first. I think she's used to men coming onto her physically, so she thinks all she really needs in life is a physical connection to feel loved. But it's like, you're dealing with people that rather have an emotional connection, like even her, like, fishing for compliments. Like, I just feel like when I look at her, I just see an insecure person that needs to do some work on themselves. Her poking Chris in the bed, counting down, is just so, like, condescending, patronizing, and, you know, her copping an attitude, keeps cutting him off. Even when he's talking, he's like, so I gotta work on stuff, but you don't have to work on stuff. What I don't like, though, with Chris, but I think with Chris did play his cards right, because he knew what kind of person she was, so he's kind of like, let you run with the narrative that you dumped me, when in reality, he's been wanting to dump her for a minute, which is why he kept going to Brian and Amaya, like, hey, he was sensing red flags, and he was just like, I don't know how to do this. And that's why everyone kept telling him, like, you know, stick it out. Even Alandria said that. I'm just like, Alandria, you have a hard time looking at the truth, because I'm like, girl, stick out what? I wish they would have left, though. There shouldn't have been any chance for them to even to place, like, third place, but I don't know. I just feel like Chris played his cards right, because when you're dealing with a narcissist, it's kind of like it has to be their idea of something. Like, he already knew what was going to happen. He was hoping she was going to say we should break up or we should just be friends. I think he was hoping so, but I think even if she didn't, he would have stuck it out until after, and when he was, like, far, because this is a long distance relationship, and he would have been able to dump her from a distance and not in that villa, because he's seen the crazy of her come out. Even when, like, they're playing and he chucks the pillow at her face and, like, she comes out with the nose tape because she just got a nose job and she was, like, complaining. You could tell how done he is with her. He's been done with her for a minute. So my only complaint with him is, like, stand on business. Like, you can tell it's something in him. He wanted his mom and sister to say something negative because he cannot stand her. And I don't blame him. I think Huda has a lot of red flags. I think any decent, common knowledge folk person can see she has issues. I think her fan base is very young, like 13-year-olds. I think they think it's cool. They're like, well, she's setting a boundary with him. That's why she's counting down. But his boundary was, don't mess with my sleep. And just imagine, as a woman, if a man was doing that to you. Like, I'm just like, we can't play and pretend when we want to bring in gender roles, and it's like, oh, it was nothing, she was harmless. But if that was a man, y'all would be screaming abuse, abuse, abuse. Do I think she's abusive? I do think she's verbally abusive. I do think she uses emotional coercion, whatever the word is, emotional abuse. I think she is, and I think she has to be careful with that, and I think she should get therapy, because it's going to be hard for her to form any sort of legit relationship. Beautiful girl, body's tea. That's how I feel like me and her are the same height and size and stuff. I'm like, body's tea. Like, I want to be as, like, toned as Huda, but, like, with Huda, you got to realize there's more in life than physicality. Like, there has to be emotional, and you have to have emotional intelligence, and she's not there yet. So I'm glad Love Island's over. Andy Cohen and Ariana Madix are hosting. Andy Cohen was like, I gotta help you out, Ariana, because your last reunion was not it. We need to ask the real questions. I'm hoping Andy Cohen gets into those butts. Don't sugarcoat nothing. I don't want this to be a traders reunion, because traders reunions, I'd be like, I need this to be a good reunion. I need him. There's questions for Huda. I hope Sierra's invited. She's apologized. Now, she didn't offend me. She offended someone. She offended a whole other group of people. But I feel like she was a big part of Love Island this season, and I would like to see her at the reunion. I'm going to see Adriana there. Adriana's the ultimate baddie. That's probably who was my favorite that came out the villa. And of course, Amaya Papaya will be there. Shelly and Ace, Alandria, Nick. Who else am I looking forward to seeing? I want to see Hannah, because I want to see Hannah there for sure. Hannah was my girl. But I think the order of events was perfect. I think Amaya and Brian deserved to win. Someone was joking online, said, Brian, that was the easiest 50K you just made. But it really is. But even their final day, it was given like West Side Story. It was very intimate. You knew they were winning. Like, it was just super intimate. Either them or Nick Alandria. Iris and Pepe, I'm sorry. I skimmed through all their scenes because they have nothing to talk about. And her pout. People talk about Sierra's pout. Her pout is annoying. And then Huda and Chris, I had to stay and watch that because that was juicy. It was just non-stop juicy. Love Island is officially over. And it's so crazy because I never wanted to talk about this, but it's like, oh my gosh, I have a reality TV pop culture podcast. How can I not talk about it? And I didn't want to talk about it because I was like, for the longest, I wanted to be on Love Island. But after seeing how fans react to the cast and, you know, just the people this season, and these are a lot of new fans, it just makes you never really want to go on that show. Like, there's a worse fan base than New Jersey stands and Beverly Hills stands, like, for Housewives, and it is Love Island USA 7. Like, until they cast another Middle Eastern, Arabic woman, Kim Kardashian look-alike next season, there's always gonna, like, it's like people love that stuff, and that's fine, but it's like, and then you attack the brown and dark-skinned girls, and I just feel like the one time Shelly and Landria stood on business, it was just disgusting. Sierra, she got a little snide remark. Adriana got a little snide remark. And it's like, we're attacking you because of our good sis Huda. When it's like, Huda didn't even need to be in that finale. We could have saved Huda from a lot of public embarrassment a long time ago. But producers wanted to eat that stuff up. And it makes me really stand with Leah now from last season, because I always thought she was a baby talking about the edits. I'm like, it's Love Island, what do you expect? It's a reality show, you gotta expect an edit. But now I see what she's talking about, especially after this season. There are certain edits, there's certain things they take out. It took out a lot of Nick and Landria scenes. I'm hearing they were talking while Sierra was there, but Landria was like, I'm bowing out because I don't want to be a part of your triangle and stuff. Like, I just feel like this season, so many of the Islanders robbed themselves of really getting to know people. Besides Hannah, Iris, Pepe, they was doing their thing. But y'all really robbed yourself just for the sake of sisterhood and for the sake of making it to the finale. Because I feel like Alandria a long time ago should have been getting to know people, because now Jeremiah's coming out saying he was interested in her. Jeremiah should have been getting to know her, but he was scared to leave Huda. Huda should have been getting to know Ace if that's what she wanted to do. Ace should have been getting to know Huda if that's what he wanted to do. I think Shelly played the game right. I think Hannah played the game right. And I think Pepe played the game right. And I also think Nick tried to play the game right, but he also had a respect for his brotherhood. So next season, y'all really got to come in for you. Do what's best for you. And I'm sick of them pulling people out the villa without an explanation. Sierra deserved an explanation. I do think certain things can be a teachable moment instead of a condemnation. So we shall see what happens on Love Island season 8. But that is a wrap. I am done talking about it. I'm done inhaling it. I'm exhaling all of that. And I am done with it until Love Island Games. I'm not talking about Love Island Games, though. But Ariana Madix will be the host of Love Island Games. And she was not. Last year was Maya Jama. I'm assuming Maya Jama is going to cover UK and All-Stars. And then Ariana's going to cover Games in USA. Which is an even trade-off. Two baddies, as they should. I'm excited for Ariana. That starts in September. So she literally has like a month and a half off. Like back to wherever she needs to go. Then she's going to be back in Fiji for Love Island Games. I'm so happy for Ariana Madix while her former co-stars are concocting storylines about cheating allegations. Did I say it? I said it. Okay, let's move on to Real Housewives of Atlanta Reunion. Super excited to talk about that. You are listening to With the Reality with me, Cashay Roberts. We're going to talk about the Real Housewives of Atlanta Reunion, which I thought was actually really good. I enjoyed it. I want to pull up something first. Britt Eady has officially announced her departure from the show. She also dropped a teaser of what her dress would have looked like. I don't know why. She's just so attention-seeking to me. It's like you did all of that. You got Kenya kicked off. You started all of this stuff. And then it's like you don't even show up to the reunion. And then you have the nerve to post what your dress would have been. Paris, who is Kelly's former stylist, I'm assuming that was spreading all of the gossip, the lies, is so thirsty to me. And I wonder if he feels like a loser, because I'm just like, okay, blonde toupee, he had the toupee, you guys know exactly who I'm talking about. But I'm like, how does it feel to be on the losing team? Because it's like you did all that to be Brit's glam, to show your fashions and stuff, and it's like now your fashions aren't even going to be seen anymore besides your Twitter account because you chose her, when it's like you could have really just chose Kelly. And I will say, Kelly's dress. So we saw Kelly's dress in action at the reunion, and I think her dress looked a lot better in action. When I like saw her walking and stuff, I was like, okay, period. The outfit looked a lot better than her picture. Like, it had a lot more movement. But Britt Eady's official goodbye, she said, as I close this chapter, I want to thank everyone who supported me, my friends, my followers, my amazing team, and everyone who defended my name. I decided to walk away from something that no longer serves me because I chose peace over destroying my mental. It's very easy to say what I should have done. When most have not walked a day in my shoes, I choose me, and a lot of people can't say they choose themselves. I still have a lot of healing left to do, but you can't heal in the same place that made you sick. I don't owe anyone closure. I only owe myself to do what's best for me. My journey here is done. Signed, the insurance agent. Britt. It's not shocking. I don't know why she dropped that. She attempted to sue Bravo. The lawsuit didn't even go through because you forgot to pay the sue fee. What is it? She forgot to pay the fee that you got to like submit to freaking, file a lawsuit. So it's like that didn't really work out. But let's get into this Atlanta reunion. Like I said, Kelly's dress looks a lot better when I see the movement. Shamia's dress is probably the best. Scene opens up. I'm not going to talk about everything. I'm going to talk about the things that like I'm really reacting on. But I want to point out the irony of there's an irony of seeing Phaedra and Portia sitting next to each other for the season 16 reunion when the last time we saw them sat next to each other was the season 9 reunion when, that epic blowout with Kandi. If you guys haven't listened, what's the reality on Kandi and Phaedra's epic fallout? I do have part 1 and 2 up. I dive deep into all of that. There's an irony, though, of seeing them sitting next to each other, given the last time they were sat next to each other, it's kind of like sealed Phaedra's fate on the show of, like, you are exiled, you're never coming back, and then she came back. And I don't know, there's just a certain, when I was looking at it, I was like, this is crazy, because the last time y'all were sat next to each other is when you guys were both concocting these lies against Kandi, who is at Cowboy Carter, still collecting coins from bills, because Beyonce uses whenever Beyonce uses one of Kandi's songs in her music mix, she gets royalties from it. Like, Kandi's money will never not be long. But yeah, there's an irony of seeing them together because it's like the last time y'all were together on a couch. Y'all were literally doing some messed up stuff and or admitting to some messed up stuff. So full circle moment, ironic, little weird, but hey, the season, in my opinion, season 16 was a nice refresh, a good refresh we need. I'm hoping next season we can see some of the alleged cast that have been reported, which is Nene Leakes and Kenya Moore as a friend. Kenya Moore as a friend, but I'm hearing Nene Leakes may be coming back. I'm hoping so. I don't want to jinx it. But what did you guys think of them sitting next to each other? Also, just shocked that Phaedra was out there the whole time because she only came on 2 weeks. I really think they were scrambling. I felt like Cynthia should have came out with everyone because she was there from the beginning, but I don't know. So Portia got a breast lift. What is her breast names again? Who is Happiness? Is Happiness Portia's or Wendy's? She got a breast lift. The breasts are up. Also, Portia was they had a call time for 9. Nobody was walking out of there until like 11:30, which is hilarious because when there was a call time, Portia was like knocked out on the couch. I'm like, she's not even getting ready. Phaedra tries to go to Britt's room. Britt's not even in there, so she skipped that. But we're not really going to be talking about Britt besides what they're saying on here because I have no further words for Britt. I think she's a coward. I'm like, how you do all of this and then it's like you don't show up. I just think that's a coward move. But so the ladies are reacting from Britt missing from the reunion. Portia talks about her phone conversation with her. She said that she did not hint at all that she was not going to be at the reunion. She said she actually was talking about bringing Mike to the reunion, like when the husbands came out. Like, Portia had no clue, and she had talked to her the night before. So she really did not know that Britt just was literally gonna skip the reunion, which I find very interesting. Like, it seems like Britt, and even if you watch the last episodes, because people were saying, you know, like, maybe her last episodes got like a terrible edit, but I thought her last episodes were like her best work, because I was like, finally, like, you're getting into the paint, like, you're talking, you're in the mix. Like, and she was serving looks, and I think Kelly was jealous of that, because Britt's looks were eating. The hair was eating, the makeup was eating. We'll get into that. But the way the season ended, it wasn't bad for Britt, so I just don't know why she would choose to dip out. I don't know. I think that would be her biggest mistake, is dipping out, because Britt, she had the longevity to be like a good one. And I think especially when okay, I just got an email. And especially when, if Kenya comes back, I just think they could have hashed it out. Like, I didn't think, especially knowing the pictures weren't even you now, I'm just like, Britt, you could have stuck around. You could have did your big one at the reunion, and you could have got a contract for next season. It would have worked out fine for you. But this reunion part 1, it was very Portia focused. And that's why I'm like, what do we have 2 extra parts for? Like, I just didn't understand it. So, okay. So, Kelly thinks Britt has played the victim and the villain and is, like, not showing up. I agree with Kelly. Drew apparently thought she was on good terms with Britt, but I guess she's being served a lawsuit. And this had something to do with the photos or something. So Drew was shocked to find out, because she thought they were fine. She said she got a phone call from her like several weeks ago, or like a text message saying that she'll be hearing from her attorney, so she can't really speak on Britt. That was weird. I'm just like, I hope Britt filed the right thing, because it just seemed like she's just doing anything at this point. I'm like, girl, did you even mean to like come for Drew? Because I feel like you didn't even mean to come for Bravo, because you didn't even complete your quest. But I don't know, that was weird to me. What else we talk about? So Cynthia eventually comes out. Can we talk about how unbalanced the set looks? There's like 4 girls on one side, and there's just like literally Phaedra and Phaedra and Portia on this side. I don't know why they didn't just bring Cynthia out with the rest of the group, because Phaedra was only there for like 4 episodes. But Cynthia's talking about Mr. Amsterdam, who is not, that's not his real name. His real name is Lay Prince. He is 39. To my shock, I was like, oh, that's not bad. I thought like Cynthia was like 50 or something. Cynthia is 58 years old. 58 where? Like, she does not look 58. Cynthia looks good. So their age gap is literally 19 years. Like, yeah, he's 39. That's what I have now. That is crazy to me. So let's get into the Portia of it all. So I will say Portia's energy is also, something's going on with Portia and Kelly. I thought they were fine, and now it's giving I don't like you. Portia and Kelly kept having this like back and forth, like bickering. They were like reading each other. I thought that was very interesting. Portia is confronted on, did you steal that lady's man? Because the people want to know. I don't even want to know anymore, because I'm like, it's so clear you did. And it's so clear because she can't even get her story right. Yes, so I just think I'm not even interested in if she took Simon from Fallon, because I think it's just pretty clear to everyone that she did, and she doesn't want to like she don't want to speak on it. It's so clear. That's why she dipped out of there for like how many seasons, because she didn't want to face her, like she didn't want to face the heat. So Shamia and Gerald, so Shamia, there's this whole thing of like, did Shamia introduce them? And it's very weird, but Andy asked, like, were y'all close with each other? Like, what was that? And then Shamia's like, yeah, we used to like vacation together, all of that stuff. And Shamia is basically like, but she did Gerald know, because like, he's also Nigerian. And she was like, we did ask Portia, did you dispel the rumors? Because there were rumors about him, like about his money and all that stuff. And Portia was just like, she didn't think it would be like an issue. She said they went through a prenup. She didn't even want to do a prenup, but like when you're in love, like you have to do that. All of that stuff. So Shamia did say though, like they were questioning it. Kelly still did not get her answer if she's still that lady's man. Kelly said, and then Portia's like, but we had like a conversation, so like I'm confused about like, you know, where we both are in our relationships. And then Kelly was like, but even though like you say that there's love there, it just, the relationship came off very phony. And I mean, Kelly clocked it, as she really did clocked it. She said that it just didn't seem like a real relationship. And then Portia like was like, but she's like, to compare the relationships, you know, your ex is over here in the tabloids leaking stories, like leaking intimate details of y'all's marriage. You know, Simon's doing the same with me. Like, we had a good conversation about, like, you know, us being in similar situations. And then Kelly said, girl, do not get 11 years mixed up with 11 months. Like, there is nothing there's nothing that similar in our relationships besides the social media aspect, which I totally understood. But it just seemed like Kelly and Portia, they couldn't agree this reunion. Like, it kept seeming like they was both barking at each other. And I was just like, what's the tea? Like, what is about to happen? Like, it just kept seeming like something was about to happen, or like we weren't really talking about it. So that's what I want to move into, kind of what Angela is like. This is some weird stuff. I gotta do a breakdown. I might do a breakdown soon. You guys might have something to look forward to. So, besides 11 years, 11 months comment, which was hilarious, just as hilarious as Drew saying, Simon says you have no storyline. We'll get to that. Angela chimes in, which I thought she was very quiet this reunion, but we didn't really get to her stuff until the end, which is why I'm like, why are there 3 parts? Because it looks like her and Phaedra are going to address their stuff next part. Don't know why there's 3 parts. So Angela's like, well, Shamia introduced Portia to Simon. And then Shamia's like, I never said that. And it's just weird. It's like they're not speaking on it. And then Andy's like, well, Portia, did Shamia introduce you to? And then she was like, no. But it's like she wanted to say yes. And then Andy's like, well, is this a story you guys concocted as friends, like just in case anyone asked? Because it was giving, they both were backpedaling. Like, everyone was lying right now. And Shamia's like, she never said that. So they played the clip, and she was saying she was there when they met. But people are saying Shamia introduced Portia to Simon when he was married. I don't know. I do know Fallon introduced Simon to Portia as a married woman, if we want to play back clips. So there's that clip. But I don't know. That's very interesting. So did Shamia introduce Portia to Simon? Because Simon and Gerald were cool. I don't know. It is a weird answer. I'm having a story it's a yes, but I'm also having a feeling like it's like a cover story, just in case people ask. So it's like, oh, like, yeah, like Shamia like knew about like you know, Gerald knew about him, but not really. Like, I don't know. It was very weird. So then Kelly is just throwing shade at her, and they're just like trying to get storylines together. Andy asked Portia about, you know, her and Dennis, like, because viewer was like it's giving you and Dennis are gonna get back together, and Portia's just like, it's a super platonic relationship, like there's nothing there. That's their relationship. And then Kelly like literally whispers, she's like, you and y'all are kikiing in that man's house. And her and Portia go back and forth, and Portia's like, well, it's not his house, it's our house, it's a marriage house or something, whatever the heck that means. It is not his house, all of that stuff. And she's like, what did you get out of your divorce, all of that stuff. It's a lot of back and forth between Kelly and Portia. I don't know how many times I have to say that. And I thought they left out on good terms. And I'm wondering, is there so much contention because, you know, Portia is clearly cool with Britt right now, and like Kelly's clearly cool with Shamia right now. So maybe that's why. But the math wasn't mathing for me for like how much they kept going back and forth with each other. So we get into some funny stuff. So Drew and Portia's stuff gets confronted. Another reason why I'm like, so what are we doing in part 3 of this? Portia and Drew get into it, and basically Drew doubles down on her claims that Portia had no storyline, because she said that on someone's podcast and Andy asked her about it, and she was like, Simon says you have no storyline, and she's going back and forth, and then Portia says you need to be worried about who's flip-flopping all up in Ralph's basement, which I laughed at it, but when I think about it, I'm like, she really don't. I mean, he's in the basement, they're not together. And then Portia, I think Portia is reading the room, because she is going back and forth with Drew, but she is reading the room, and I think she's reading the fans' comments, because a lot of people think her appearance, her return did fall flat because she was banking on this soft life, and I think that's what Drew also like hinted on. She's like, you thought you were coming in to provide this life that we hadn't seen from you, this soft life, you know, you're gonna be booed up, and then it's like, that didn't happen. Simon says you have no storyline, which was very clever, I will say. Like, Drew, 10 10 10, because normally Drew's reads are corny. That wasn't corny, that was a good read. But Portia then, like, Andy asked, like, about the whole her meeting up with Ralph, and then Portia's like, she did that to be petty, and then she does get up to go hug Drew, and you can just tell Drew thinks she's full of BS. And I thought in that moment she was too, because she just got up and she's like, here, I just want to do this. And it's like, even Angela had to whisper, she's like, 17 episodes later, like, you're doing this because you saw social media coming for you. We're like saying, like, you're such a hypocrite, it did fall flat, she's not really loved by fans. And then I was, of course, watching this with my mom, and my mom was like, what is Portia? She's giving me a Cancer. And why is Portia a Cancer? And no shade to Cancers or nothing, but it's just like the way she just kind of like flip-flopped like that, and was like trying to like turn the story to save face. Like, you haven't wanted to reconcile with her this whole time leading up to filming happens, and all of a sudden you're like, yes. And then guess what, my mom's a Taurus, and so is Drew, because Drew was kind of like trying to fill the situation out, because she's like, you now want to hug me? Like, it was so unbelievable. Like, it was such a weird, calculated move. Like, she's like, I just wanted to get up and hug you. They hug, they squash it. But if Drew knows any better, and she did say, she's like, you guys get upset when you keep poking at me, and then I poke at you, I say something shady, and it's like this whole thing. And I agree with her with that. She's like, you guys keep poking me, and like, I'm the butt of the joke. Don't know why Drew was last on that seat. She should not have been. Kelly should have been. But yeah, stop playing in Drew's face. And I think Drew was right to be hesitant on that hug, because it was not genuine. It seemed like Portia was like, let me dead this. I see I'm getting eaten up on social media. They're not really messing with me for, you know, filming with Ralph. She did admit it was just to be petty. And she's like, let me dead this with Drew so I can carry on and have a good fan base. I think everything Portia was really doing, I've always seen her as like a little like Portia's not all the way there, but it was in that moment I realized Portia was very smart, and she's just very calculating as well, because a lot of your stuff, a lot of her stuff was not reading, it wasn't making sense. So that was that. She went to go hug, she apologized for meeting up with Ralph. Drew accepts her apology, but I say she accepts the apology, air quotes. I don't think Drew's gonna let that one go. I don't think I would let that one go. It would take some time. And even Drew's like even when you weren't on the show, I was hitting you up when I was having a hard time in this group, and then for you to kind of like turn it around and make it seem like I'm sleeping with Dennis. Portia can even remember the text messages that Dennis showed with Drew. Like, it was just giving you got caught up in a lie because you needed a storyline. Like, she was never sleeping with Dennis, and her music, her album is amazing. Everyone is saying it. So it's like, clearly she did need to work with Dennis. I will always say, like, if Portia really didn't know, that's messed up. They should have definitely went to Portia, but it turned out to be an amazing album. You can't fault Drew on putting her career first, especially as a single mom now. Like, you just can't fault her for wanting to do that and put herself first. And Drew, at the end of the day, can sing. Like, it don't matter what people say. Like, Drew can sing. She's a video vixen. She's a triple threat. Like, Drew is that girl. Let's not forget it. So I think Portia played her cards wrong and miscalculated what was going to happen. We also get Shamia trying to chime in, and it's even like Portia don't even want her to chime in, and Drew's like sit on her lap or whatever, like, you should have been on that side. And then we get into a very interesting conversation about like alliances on the show. And so basically they bring back up Britt, and Kelly talks about like why they're falling out happen, which I would have much rather seen with Britt there, which is why I think Britt is the ultimate coward. And that's why that's why I have no choice but to take Kelly's side now. Because Britt, you're not there to defend yourself. So Kelly says that she, at the start of the show, was going to extend her glam and wardrobe to Britt. And, because she knew she was having a hard time finding all that stuff after she was the woman that was known to get king and kicked off the show. Totally believable. So but she's saying she didn't know that was going to be for the whole season. So she did have to, tell her glam, hey, it's I need y'all to focus on me. And I think what we're not seeing there is Kelly was definitely probably jealous of the looks Britt was getting fed. Britt's looks were eating 10, 10, 10, 10, 10. You could tell her wardrobe got up. And we talk about this, Kelly is a short woman. She's literally 4'8". She's 4'10". It's hard. So it's I don't think her stylists were styling her the best. And I think she's probably seeing Britt, and Britt's just hit after hit after hit after hit after hit. And it's she's in Atlanta, she got that BBL, she got that body type, she's 5'6". She has the preferred styling for Atlanta, not for New York City, but for Atlanta. And I think Kelly was just upset about that. And then Kelly is also very top heavy. I'm just saying, Kelly is not the ideal body height or bust even. It's gonna be hard. So I think she definitely was probably feeling the type of way that her glam was very much chewing when it came to Britt's look. And I think she probably felt the type of way. And I can understand that, but I think she should have been honest with herself. So she claims there's nothing that Britt has that she would be jealous about. Portia's making faces, and she's like, well, I did hear that you guys had alliances and that you guys came in here with a vendetta to go against me and Kenya, basically. And then Shamia chimes in and she was like, okay, so the alliances, it was going to be, me, Portia, Kelly, and Britt. Angela was not a part of that alliance because Angela was just not added to that group chat, I guess. But that was supposed to be the alliances. And Shamia's saying, well, Portia, you were in on it as well. And Portia's saying, no, I wasn't, because she's hearing all this from Britt. And I think Britt lies to Portia. I think Portia definitely knew about an alliance. And then that's when Shamia says she didn't like how hard they were coming in at Portia. And she had to tell him, okay, please give Portia, a chance. All of this stuff. Portia was like, I would never be in an alliance because alliances ruin the show. And Andy agreed. But Portia, you have an alliance with Phaedra. So it's just kind of alliances ruin the show, but they are what the basis of reality TV. It's do you guys hang out when the cameras go down? No, you don't. Alliances is a true thing on these shows. So I didn't really believe Portia when she said that. I think Portia is a liar. I'm sorry, I really do. Oh, I had to drink some water. So now we're going to get to the accusations that Kelly had an abortion. And Kelly is basically claiming that her stylist with the toupee, the blonde toupee, is the one that was spreading that misinformation. And Kelly just said there was no way she could have had an abortion after the twins, because her twins had that immune disease. And after that, she got her tubes tied. And she said the information was relayed back. Paris is the stylist's name. To Britt, because he is continuing to work with Britt to this day, even though she's not on the show anymore. So yes, so she's saying that did not happen. Now she got to have a conversation with her kids. So we got that cleared up. And like I said, at this point we have no choice but to believe Kelly, because Britt is not here to defend yourself. So not only when you're forfeiting your spot at the reunion, you're also forfeiting your position in a lot of arguments, because it's we're gonna automatically take the other side. Kelly, Andy also asked Kelly about her restaurant, what's going on with the restaurant. He's you got all this expenses, because Kelly spend money. She spent a lot of money, $100K on that dog a year. And it's why isn't your restaurant open? Because she just had a lawsuit where she owed like $100K, and she was like, she just had $200K in lawyer fees. So she got out fairly cheap in Atlanta. The ladies were saying out of that divorce, she only spent about like $200,000 in, you know, lawyer fees. And then he's like, so does this have something to do with your restaurant being pushed back, the opening for the chicken and waffles Nanas? And she's like, yes. But then Andy actually threw shade at her. She was like, well, I feel like you should like probably like prioritize the chicken and waffles before you're like doing all this other stuff, because Kelly spends money. She be throwing these lavish events and stuff, and she's like, I am prioritizing it, all that stuff. So the lawsuit was wrapped up. They got their payments. The delay in the payments was because she had the lawyer fees and she just didn't have the money at the time. And that's what I do like about Kelly. She's like, I'm not about to lie to you, like, the payments were late. I mean, it's in the lawsuit. I didn't have the money to give it to them because I was warped up in lawyer fees. So I think that was really real of Kelly to just say, because a lot of people wouldn't. They'd just be like, oh, it's getting handled. Like, Phaedra would not have admitted that, but Kelly's like, look, I may have, what does it say, like, you may have bit more off your plate than you could or whatever. So let's get into the final part of the reunion until we have our second part, whatever that will be about. So Angela claims that Phaedra was definitely in on Marcus coming on the show because Marcus went to high school with her oldest brother, and she had receipts. Not gonna lie, I thought the receipts were flopping. I'm not gonna lie, because I just felt like it made no sense, but a lot of people are making valid points. They're like, remember when Phaedra was first on, she was like, me and Nene know each other, but Nene was like, just because we went to Athens and like it's only like 2-3 high schools doesn't mean I know you. Like, I may have known your sibling, all of that stuff. So some people did bring up like very valid, you know, arguments as to, well, it's a possibility Phaedra knew this guy. Now, the receipts are just so messy because he came in putting it on Kelly, then Shamia, then he circled to Phaedra, and then like I said, when you start saying she the godfather and you knew Junebug and them, I personally don't believe the Marcus guy, but I can understand why people are like, well, are these receipts valid? Because not so long ago, like over a decade, Phaedra was claiming to know Nene Leakes because they went to the same school in Athens. And I guess Athens, Georgia is very small. But she's saying she does not know this man. We're going to get more into it. Angela thinks she has a pattern of lying. And this is where Angela loses me. Pattern of lying to who? To you or to like what's happened on the show? Because yes, it's important to do your research, but also you're coming off now as a fan, and it's like you're going based on something that happened in season 9 when we're talking about this season. What has she lied about to you in this season? I'm sure y'all can find something, but I'm just saying, like, it's giving fan, like, it's like you have a history of doing this, and it was just giving a setup. It was giving very poorly managed, very poorly like planned. Like, it wasn't giving. And I just feel like, Angela, you had such a high, and then to end on the shenanigans and lower yourself to Phaedra Parks, if this happened or not, and she's trying so hard to prove it, I'm just like, the real receipts will prove themselves. But Angela's so destined on, like, Phaedra's like, she's the one that's done this, she's in the midst of all of it, and I'm just kind of like, it's reading very bad to me, and it's not reading as valid to me, like, at all. And I'm just like, I don't know if I believe neither one of them. I think they're all liars. I think Angela had no business bringing on this guy a second, a third time. And I don't know. She's not reading well to me. It's flopping. But I also understand people's point that Phaedra, I mean, her debut season, she like swore she knew Nene because they went to they both grew up in Athens. And if this Marcus guy went to the same, you know, high school as your oldest brother, did you know this man? I don't know. That was your part 1 though. I thought the part 1 was really good. It was a lot going on. I was just like, I think Britt missing the reunion was very miscalculating on her part. I think she's gonna regret it. She's back to just insurance agent, and it's like you're a one-time wonder now, and it's like you did all of that to bow out of the reunion, girl, and it wasn't even that deep. You could have just faced the music. I just feel like that'll be your biggest flop. And then her dress, looked really good, like if she was gonna wear it. But I'm just like, were you, or is that AI? I can't even tell. Like, I just can't tell anymore. But that was your first part of Real Housewives of Atlanta, part 1. I don't know what's going to be on Sunday nights anymore. I really don't. Thank you so much for listening to What the Reality with me, Cassia Roberts. This was your Toxic, but it's Tuesday episode. Stay tuned for Friday's episode. It may be something good. Maybe a little something good. And yes, if you guys are watching me on YouTube, make sure you give me a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel. And if you're listening on the podcast, wherever you listen to your podcast, make sure you give my show 5 stars, leave a comment, and follow my show and download, especially as you are taking those flights, you know, booked and busy at the end of the summer. It was like midway through the summer. Like, where does time go? But thank you so much for listening. Until the next time. Period. Thank you so much for listening to my podcast, What the Reality with me, Cassia Roberts. Don't forget to leave a 5-star rating and a comment wherever you listen to your podcast. Let me know what I should be doing. Let me know how I'm doing. All compliments are welcome. Until the next time.